Another Wednesday Power Shot with Paul Jervey, certified financial planner and the Moses of finance. Today we are going to talk about 401ks again. I've been getting a lot of questions and stuff like that about 401ks, so figured it'd be another good topic to talk about. Today we want to talk about, my title is Unlocking Your Future, the Power and Pitfalls of Your 401k plan. So I want you to look at your 401k as like a vault, right? This is where a lot of people have their largest retirement assets in that 401k, because you have been putting money into it maybe from an early age, from when you started working, and that 401k money has maybe followed you to different companies. And so inside of that 401k, it is going to eventually grow and help you establish your future financial position, especially when you get to the point of retirement. So there's a lot of things that people use their 401k for. I know, because you can borrow from it, you can take money out for college, you can take money out for first time home purchase. I believe this, that because it's a retirement account, it should be used for retirement. If you are going to pull money out for any of those goals that I just mentioned, technically, I believe, and my philosophy is that you should have a bucket specifically for that. You don't want to take money out of the 401k. Why? Because every time that you take money out of that 401k, you are losing time. And time is your greatest commodity. Time plus compound interest equals magic. And so it becomes even more magical when you've got the right investment mix in your 401k. So again, don't take money from your 401k if you can help it. If you can't help it, I get it. Emergencies come up, financial hardship, I get it. But if you're in a good position now, get with a professional, or join one of my companies and figure out a way so that your plan can help you put money away for the home purchase, for the college education, for emergencies and things of that nature, so that you don't have to disrupt the power of the compound interest. All right, so let's talk about the power of supercharging your savings. So we've talked about this before, but compound interest is magic, and it can cause your account to grow exponentially over time. Tax advantages. Remember, you're getting a tax deduction on your 401k when you put money into it. And then as the money's growing, you're not getting taxed on it as well. And then you're also getting your employer match. All right. And so I'm telling you, those three things, and the power of numbers is insane. Okay. And so there's a lot of significance in numbers, right? And so 1 is the number of unity. 2 is the number of separation or holiness. 3 is the number of God. 4 is the number of earth. 5 is the number of man. 6 is the number of grace. 7 is the number of completion. 8 is the number of abundance, and 9 is the number of truth, right? And so then 10 and 11 all have different numbers, different meanings and stuff like that. So when you see that there, especially in scripture, when you see that the Bible is saying for 7 days or for 3 days, there's a specific significance. And usually, and you read further a little bit through it, you'll start to see that, oh, okay, this is why, because there's 7 here, 3 here. It's really cool. Anyway, so now, some of the things that I want to talk about are the not so pretty side of the 401ks, right? So when it comes to your 401k, you do have limited investment options. And so sometimes you might not be able to pick the types of investments within your 401k that you could, or so you think. Some 401ks do have what's called a brokerage element, where you're able to attach your 401k to a brokerage account, and then you can incorporate stocks and bonds, like individual stocks and bonds to it. Sometimes, because they're not educating us in terms of what to do with the 401k, they just automatically throw you into a target date retirement fund, and that's usually what people will stick with. When in actuality, the target date fund could quite possibly be a good option for you, but can you beat the target date fund? Absolutely. In terms of a rate of return, absolutely. The target date funds usually are a little bit more expensive. And so I know with the program that we have that we utilize when we're managing our clients' 401k, I'm able to show clients, well, this is why the target date fund isn't necessarily growing the way that you want it to, because this particular one is charging X. And so, but if we build a portfolio outside of the target date fund using these funds, and it's properly allocated according to your risk, you could actually see a higher percentage point. And sometimes we're able to even illustrate that out. Here's what the target date fund has done over the last 10 years. Here's what this portfolio would have done. And usually we'll see a significant difference. So those hidden fees, you have to be aware of the hidden fees within your 401k. Next is early withdrawal penalties. And this is big and really emphasizes the need for planning, because if you take money from your 401k early, the government is going to tax you. And this is why I made the statement earlier, because they're going to tax you and penalize you. So let me be clear. This is why I made the statement earlier that it does make sense to have your money in specific buckets for specific goals. So if you're taking money out of your 401k, it's usually because you don't have enough money for emergencies. And that's why it's always good to have a proper emergency fund, 3 to 6 months of expenses. And so that may mean that you have to shorten up some of your external spending so that you can build that up, so that if something comes up, you need 4 new tires for the car, you need to put a new roof on, something happened and now you got a big medical bill for you or somebody in your family. Now you don't have to go to that 401k and take money out of it. The other thing is that there are loan considerations. Now, people always look at that and say, man, if I'm taking a loan against my 401k, that's great. I can do that all day long because I'm just paying myself back. Here's what you don't understand is that even though, yes, the answer, yes, you are paying yourself back. However, if you have, let's say, $100,000 401k account and you just borrowed 10,000 of it, okay, you've got 10,000 that's a loan, 90,000 that's actually invested in the stock market. So now you got 90,000 that's growing at a hypothetical 10%, as opposed to 100,000 growing at a hypothetical 10%. And then they maybe charge you 4 or 5% on that loan. So you're paying yourself 4 or 5% interest. But think about, depending on how long that might last, whether it's 3, 4, or 5 years that you're paying yourself back at this interest rate. If the stock market takes off, think about how much money you're leaving on the table. In economics, they call this opportunity cost. What you gave up from working that particular strategy, versus if you had the money set aside in another account, you would have left that 401k to continue to sit and compound the way that it should. But because you borrowed from it, yes, you're still paying yourself back and that money is going to you, but it's not going to you at the same rate that it could. So you're leaving money on the table. I hope that makes sense. Now, so unlocking your potential. When it comes to your 401k, you should create your own personalized strategy. 401ks are no different from, and they're actually a part of your financial plan, which is in your financial plan, you have an investment plan. Your 401k sits in there, and then it helps supercharge the retirement plan. So it should be a part of your overall strategy. So it needs to be personalized specifically to you. I can honestly tell you that when it comes to financial plan creation, everybody's financial plan is different. Some people may have the same investment accounts. And side note, be mindful of companies that end up saying to you, you're going to get a personalized investment strategy. All right. 9 times out of 10, and they may even tell you that everybody's portfolio is different. No, they're not. Everybody's portfolio ain't different. That company has a set of portfolios that they're managing, and so it's not really specific to you. All right, so that's just an insider thing. It's just a marketing thing. Oh, I feel like I'm getting such personalized, tailored attention from them. But if you met their client from ABC state, they pretty much got the same thing. All right, so now there may be some personality within it because some clients like to add certain different types of investments. So there are going to be some, but 9 times out of 10, it's a packaged portfolio that they've put together. Not saying that it's wrong. I'm just saying, that's not necessarily a marketing tool that should entice you to do business with a company. All right. So how do you personalize your strategy? Number one, I feel like, and you might be able to do this on your own, but I feel like you should work with a professional because you need to understand your risk tolerance. You need to understand 2 things, your risk tolerance and your risk capacity. What's the difference between tolerance and capacity? Tolerance is the amount of risk that you're comfortable taking. So meaning, if you say that you're a high risk taker, you're an aggressive risk taker, then that may mean that you have, let's say again, you got 100,000 invested in the 401k, but And if the stock market is doing incredibly well, you're making a boatload of money. But as soon as that stock market starts to go down and or crash, you lose a ton of money. Right? So are you willing to withstand that roller coaster ride? Some people can't look and see that, oh, I've got 125,000 month one, and then month six they have 82,000. They can't take the fact that they lost that much money. They begin to panic and they're like, okay, this doesn't work. Let me sell all of my investments and go into something more conservative. That's usually what happens. So you have to understand your risk tolerance. And so if you can't handle that, then your risk tolerance, maybe you're not an aggressive investor. Maybe you're a growth investor or a moderate growth or a moderate, conservative growth. Conservative, and then, preservation of principle. It depends. You're going to be in one of those categories. Now, capacity is how much risk do you need to take based on your retirement strategy or the time frame to your goal. Do you need to take on more risk simply because you need the higher rate of return to accomplish the goal? So sometimes people, when it comes to your financial goal, and we'll just say retirement, you're either going to retire later. So maybe your goal is to retire at 60, but your retirement plan says, nah, you can't do it. So if you want to keep doing what you're doing, you got to retire at 65, or you got to save more money, or you got to live on less, or you have to earn a higher rate of return. So these are the components of your risk capacity. And so your risk capacity may say, yes, your tolerance is moderate, but your capacity actually is aggressive because you need to get a higher rate of return to achieve this goal in the time frame that you want it, or else you got to adjust one of the other parameters. All right. And then you need to build your portfolio according to that risk level and risk capacity. So a little personalization there. And you need to review it on a regular basis. All right. So review it on a regular basis, specifically so that you can rebalance your portfolio. So let's just say you are a moderate investor and you want to have 50% of your money in stocks, 50% of your money in bonds. Well, now let's just say you started out that way 6 months ago, and now you're at 60% stocks, 40% bonds. You need to rebalance yourself to get you back in line so that you stay within the risk tolerance and capacity that is needed, so that you're not taking on unnecessary risk or too little risk. And if you don't know how to do that, this is where the professional comes in. All right. Next, some 401ks have a professional that you can reach out to and have a conversation with, and they can go through the tolerance and the capacity with you. Some do, most don't. All right. Because it's an extra cost for your company to do that. All right. Now, when it comes to building this success for the future, you want to have that expert guidance, and you want to make sure that you have that 401k account invested the right way. All right. And then you want to make sure that you have a system set up so that you can have ongoing support so that your portfolio stays in line. If an investment is not doing so good, then you got the system in place to be able to move that fund out, put another one in. If there's a new fund that comes into your 401k, you got a system to be able to look at what's it done in the past, what's it expected to do in the future, what's the objective of the fund, and what did the fund cost. All right. All those things are going to weigh into your overall return. Now, if you don't want to do all those things, this is why people have a financial advisor. And so you can get some assistance by joining my company, Exonomics, or you can text the word DISCOVER, DISCOVER, to this number, 510-726-0925. And you'll be able to schedule a meeting with me or somebody from my team, and we'll be able to explain to you how we are able to assist our clients with the management of their 401k. All right. 401k stays right where it's at. You don't have to move it or anything like that. But we will essentially help you with making sure that your 401k is structured the right way. And then we'll rebalance it. We'll let you know what the fees you're paying. Make sure that you're in the lowest cost fees. And then we'll let you know if there's if there's a new fund that comes available that is really good and adds to the value of the portfolio, we'll do that for you. We'll rebalance it, keep everything in line, and then make sure that we are sending you reports so that you know exactly where you are. So again, if that's you and you want to take that weight off of your shoulders, text the word DISCOVER to 510-726-0925. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm the Moses of Finance. Catch you down the road.